it's me, Jessica Bieber, and today I wanted to talk about cringy K-pop fans. I wanted to talk about what makes a cringy K-pop fan, what you can do to stop being one if you are one, and I just wanted to have a little discussion about it. Before I get into it, I would love if you guys subscribed and turn the bell button on because it helps me make more videos because it makes me stay motivated. Let's get into it. So I asked on my socials what you guys personally thought made someone a cringy K-pop fan, and you guys came through with the answers. So I picked the ones that I agreed with the most, or some that I just wanted to talk about, and here are some of them. So someone called Sophia said wearing the fake K-pop jersey merch, and honestly, I have to agree, but I also have to disagree. So first of all, I want to say I'm all for self-expression. You can dress how you want if it makes you feel happy, but sometimes when people overdress themselves in K-pop merch and go way over the top, I find that very tacky because I just don't know, it just looks tacky and a bit cheap to me. And now I'm all for cheap clothing because I am broke as hell, but when clothes just look cheap, I don't like it. I think it just looks tacky, and I think when you overclad yourself in K-pop merch, which is usually fake or bought from Amazon and stuff like that, it can look very tacky. And I personally think you should wear K-pop merch if you can style it in a way that makes you look good, because I've seen like pictures on Twitter where people will wear K-pop merch and they kind of turn it into like this really cute thing, or they make it really fashionable. But when you're just like clad in like a hat, a jumper and some shoes and a bag, it just looks over the top and a bit cringy. But yeah, I just believe less is more when it comes to wearing merch. You don't need to clad yourself in an entire group's logo to feel like a true fan. And you know, it sometimes looks really good when you just be minimalistic with your merch. For example, I have like this little Twice sweater thing that I got, and I just kind of wear it as like a sweater dress, and I think it looks really cute when you just wear it like that, and I don't think it makes you look, I don't know, cringy. I don't know, maybe a K-pop fan would see it and cringe, but I think I pulled this look off well. Feel free to disagree, but I think it doesn't look cringy when you wear it like this. So someone called Afreen, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, said the ones who think that standing a group longer makes them a better fan. It clearly doesn't, because you can't measure the amount of love you have for a group with the amount of time you've been with them. Some people discover groups later than others, and I agree with this so much. I just personally think it's so condescending when people are like, oh, what year did you get into K-pop? And oh, I got into it in 2001. When Boa debuted, I came out of the womb and I was streaming her music. Like, shut the no. And you know, I'm an older fan myself. I'm a bit of a hag, but I just, it really, when I see other like people do this, it really, it grinds my gears. And this is like a thing in real life too. Like, people need to stop thinking that just because you've known someone for years or ages doesn't mean that something is better, I guess. Like, I don't know, I met my best friends like 2 or 3 years ago, or even 1 year ago, and I personally find that I have such a strong bond with them over people that I've known my entire life, or people that I went to school with. Like, no. If you guys can't tell, it really grinds my gears. And I think people need to differentiate this with like talking about, you know, memories from being like an older fan, because, you know, it's fine to like look back and say, oh, I remember when this happened, or I remember when this happened, but when you shun people for not being in the fandom, just like, come on, like, as if I'm going to like shun Taeyeon stans. Oh, you weren't a Taeyeon stan in 2014 to support her when she had her dating scandal. Fake! Like, no. So someone called Megan said, people who form their entire personality around liking a group and bashing people who don't like that group, and also holding Korea and Koreans above like a god standards, thinking they can't do wrong. Korea boo alert. So yeah, for real, Megan really said the truth here. I genuinely think, you know, when you have like a certain interest, I feel like your personality does kind of get shaped or influenced by your interests. But I think you need to have other interests, and I think that you need to remember that before a K-pop stan, you know, you're a man, or you're a woman, or you're a whatever you want to be. Like, you really need to like just remember that K-pop isn't your life, and even if you think it is, it's not. And there's so much outside of K-pop, and I think I would just really encourage people, I don't want to say to get a life, but to just look at new things and explore different things, because I feel like if you just revolve your life around one thing, you're going to miss out on all the other great things. And that sounds like kind of philosophical or preachy or deep, but it's true, you know? And the second thing she said, where she talked about people holding Korea and Koreans above like a god standard, thinking they can't do wrong, yeah, that's very Korea buoy. And when I was going into this video, I was wanting to just kind of like pass by Korea boo behavior, because I feel like everyone knows that Korea boo behavior is cringy, but this is a very subtle Korea boo trait, and I've seen it a lot of times. Like, I was in a Twitter group chat ages ago, and someone said with their whole heart, oh, Koreans are the only types of Asians that keep themselves clean. And I was sitting there like, no. Like, come on, just stop. Like, just stop. It's just, no, you know, it's just stop. It's cringe. So someone called Bangtanimosity, is that your real name? Commented if they say things like my heart too, or just genuinely put the ooh at the end of their words to mock a Korean accent. It's so cringy. And this is another thing that I find as a very like subtle Korea boo behavior. Like, it's not like completely out there, but it's also very sketchy to me, and I think it's very disrespectful. I always think mocking accents in general is just a bit I don't know, that don't sit right with me. But you know, yeah, this is very cringe, and I don't like this behavior, and I think it's borderline dodgy, or maybe just full on dodgy. Yeah, don't do this. If you do this, then stop, because it's not right. So now that I've shown what some of you guys think, I wanted to include some of my own that I personally find as cringy, and the first one is gatekeeping. So for those who aren't familiar with the term gatekeeping, the best way I could describe it is with like a little scenario, okay? So just roll with it. So imagine that you've kind of, I don't know, just got into a group, or you've just found this group and you like their music and you don't really know the names, or you don't know that much about them just yet, and you're just getting into the feel, and then some random person is like, hey, you can't be a fan of them because you don't know which member left at this time of period and this, and you don't know which outfit they wore at this stage. And can you even name three B-sides? Which member left on this date? Like, ugh, no. You can be a casual fan. You don't have to be a hardcore fan. And it really pisses me off when people think that you have to be some hardcore dedicated fan that knows everything about a group just to like their music. You don't. You don't have to learn all the members if you don't want to, because you're not obligated to. If you enjoy the music, just enjoy the music. And if you want to get into the members, get into the members. And I think it's so annoying when people try and gatekeep groups. Like, why would you like not want your group to get more fans? Like, if that was me, I'd be really excited. I'd be like, oh my god, you should listen to this song, or do you know the members? Like, it's so annoying, and I think it's so condescending and very, very odd to gatekeep a group just because you think you're a better fan. Like, no, you should just be happy that more people are getting into them or listening to their music. So yeah. The next thing I wanted to talk about is when people push K-pop on people who aren't interested or don't like K-pop. First of all, I just think it gives off a bad impression, and second of all, I just think it's very, very awkward for the other person, and I personally hate the feeling of making someone feel uncomfortable, maybe just because that's a me thing, but I hate making people feel uncomfortable, and this kind of thing would just make me feel uncomfortable if someone constantly pushed music onto me that I wasn't interested in or didn't like, and I think it's just very irritating. Sometimes you just have to accept people don't like it, they aren't interested, and that's it. It's not personal, it's their opinion, and you just have to accept that because that's alive, you know? I see a lot of people do this to their classmates. When I was back in high school, I remember my old friends who I don't talk to anymore, they would constantly try and push K-pop onto people who didn't really care about the genre or didn't like it, and you could tell that they were just sitting there and they just didn't care, and I don't know, it just gives me secondhand embarrassment. But if they genuinely want to see K-pop, it's one thing, but when it's like unprovoked and you're just bugging someone, I think it's a bit rude, and I also think it's a bit awkward, and it just creates an awkward atmosphere, and I don't like it. I don't know, is that just me? The last one I wanted to talk about was bothering other K-pop stans in public, and I feel like I've dealt with this the most, and I don't know why, but I just have. And there is kind of a grey area, because I feel like if you approach someone and you're very friendly and nice to them, that's totally fine. But it's when you bother them, maybe follow them around or just say weird things to them when they don't want that kind of interaction, that's when I really dislike it. So for example, I would go to a K-pop club night every now and then with my friends, and we would meet loads of new people because we were just being friendly and present, and we would just talk to people about K-pop and stuff like that. And I think that's genuinely fine because you're in a situation where people like, you know, they want to talk to you or they approach you and you have a good time. But then I've also been in situations where someone was listening to my conversation with my friend at a cafe and they kept screaming at us, and it was so awkward and so embarrassing because this was a very small cafe, and oh, I didn't like it. And I know people have had similar experiences because I've read these stories in my Career Boost story videos, but you just need to know time and a place and social grace. So basically, for me personally, if you're ever going to come up to me and talk to me about K-pop, do so. But don't be weird about it, okay? That's all I ask. For example, I don't know if I've told this story before, I might have on live streams, but me and my friend were sitting in a booth and there was another booth behind us, and me and my friend were talking about K-pop, we were just talking about random releases, and the people in the booth next to us started listening to our conversation and shouting over the booth random phrases about the K-pop idols we were talking about, and they would also play really loud music. If I said NCT, they'd start playing NCT song and they would hold their phone over the booth so we could hear it. And it was just so embarrassing and awkward, and the people in the store were kind of like, what the hell is going on? It was so embarrassing, and it just got to the point where I was like, why are you listening to everything we're saying? You don't do that. That was just a personal experience I've had though, and I, you know, do comment other, you know, stories that you've had with stuff like this as well, because I would genuinely love to read them, as long as you don't fake them like people did in the Career Boost stories. I would love to read other people's, you know, experiences with K-pop stans bothering them in public, because I know this ain't just happened to me. I genuinely know this doesn't. But yeah, those are all the things I could personally think of at the top of my head. But do comment if I've missed anything out. If you think another kind of trait or action is cringy that I missed out, tell me below and I'll rate it on a scale of cringiness. So yeah, I've just came over that on the spot, but I will do it, I promise. That's all I'm going to say for now. If you guys want to keep in touch and see what other kind of videos that I'm going to include people's opinions on, feel free to subscribe or follow me on Twitter or Instagram, because that's where I ask all the questions to get people's opinions. So if you ever want to be included in a video, then follow me on the socials, and you never know, I might include your opinion if you have a good one or an interesting one. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying. I've spoken too much already. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to stan Hitori. I love Hatsune Miku. Bye.